All right, so hi y'all, it's Tiffany. I hope everybody's having a good day. It is November 1st, 2022. Time is flying. But yeah, I don't even know where to start because this has just been like the craziest week of my life. Like last week was like the craziest week of my life. Um, for those of you that don't know, it sounds amazing to say it to myself, but to the okay, to those of you who don't know, um, last week several friends and I went to Encino, California to um, the Thriller Nights party that's held at the Jackson home, the Havenhurst Estate, the famous historic Havenhurst Estate. Um, I flew in from Texas. My friend Ebony flew in from Texas. Um, our friend Carol already lives in Encino. She's so lucky. And my friend April and her son Trey came from, I believe it was from Alabama. April, if I'm wrong, please correct me because I have so many friends spread out over, different southern states. I kind of get them mixed up. But yeah. Now, I want this to be like a series, well, mini series anyway, where I explain like each story with how I met each Jackson family member, or what I like to call MJ adjacent person, like not somebody who's in their family, but like somebody who's worked with Michael Jackson. Uh, I still can't believe it. When I first came home, let me just say this. When I first came back from California, I was exhausted. I laid down and took a nap. And when I woke up, I literally thought that, it was just like this big magnificent dream. Then I started looking on my phone. I saw the pictures. I was like, oh my God, it really, like really freaking happened. Like, oh my God. But okay. So technically, the first story and the first celebrity that I met is actually Taj Jackson. But I'm kind of limited for time because I still have to go get ready to go to dialysis. But I can explain getting TJ Jackson for like the first time um, easier and quicker because meeting Taj is like a way more involved story. Like, okay, TJ was just like by chance, like, you know, by chance. Taj, that took some actual work and finagling on my part to make that happen. So that's going to be a totally different video for another day, very soon. But okay, TJ. So to kind of back it up a little bit, there's the Thriller Nights party. The purpose of these parties is two of them for 2 nights. Um, three if you count the one they had for just exclusively children. But for adults like me, even though I act like a kid, for adults like me, there's the first night and the second night. So the first night, Carol and April and her son Trey had tickets to the first night. I kind of wish I was able to go to both nights because the first night they had Chris Tucker, they had Jeff, Tevin Campbell, Tito Jackson showed up. I mean, I've already met Tito Jackson, but I'd like to meet Tito Jackson again because he was so cool. But they had a spectacular time, and the whole the whole while they were gone, Ebony and I were sitting in Carol's house, just like, oh, I wonder what they're doing. Oh, I wonder who they're seeing. Oh, blah blah blah. So, I got to thinking, and I said, usually when they do these parties, I'm talking about the Jackson family. When they do these parties, they usually repeat the same costume. So I said, let's hop on a computer, let's see who's wearing what, and try to figure out like, okay, based on what they wore this night, what they're going to wear tomorrow. So um, TJ Jackson came as a cat in a hat, matching his wife because she was like Mrs. Cat in a Hat. Taj was a teddy bear. He threw us a curveball because he was a black teddy bear the first night, and then he was a little brown teddy bear the next night. Um, His wife was like a cyber Barbie with her sisters. Taj's wife is a triplet. So just imagine like three gorgeous women walking around. And like with TJ's wife, she's a a gorgeous lady walking around in little Miss Cat in a Hat outfit. Um, so and then I looked for Prince. Now I'm gonna mention Prince later. But the first night he wore a Mario costume. I assume his girlfriend was Luigi. And because I didn't see any pictures of his girlfriend at that time. Now, the night I was there, Prince was Peter Pan and his girlfriend was Tinkerbell. I saw so many Peter Pans and Tinkerbells at that party. It was hilarious. Okay, but back to TJ. So, you know, our day comes around. I literally took 3 hours to get dressed. I took 3 hours, and I really was thinking about my makeup hard because originally my makeup was supposed to be, dark smoky eye, red lip, bold red lip, because like hello 1920s, and just a little silver highlighter on my cheek. But I thought about it and I was like, oh God, no, I can't do that because I intended to like hug other celebrities, hug other people I might have known, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to get lipstick on anybody's, expensive costume. I don't want to get highlighter on somebody's expensive costume. So at the last minute, I changed it. So I was just like, okay, pink lip, which my lip gloss is sitting up there, pink lip. And I instead did a really, really heavy um silver brow bone highlight. I usually do it with gold. I don't know if you can see it now because my camera's trash. But it's a light gold. I just always do that. And so I have my blue dress. And if you've seen a picture, you see my blue dress, you see me with the wig. My friend Ebony did like a Michael Jackson inspired look. And if for us it wasn't like a themed costume, but two or three different people were like, "Oh, were you Michael Jackson?" And one of the girls from Smooth Criminal. And finally, I was like, "You know what? Freaking, we're from Smooth Criminal, yeah." So all I can remember is my friend Carol talking about like how long you had to stand, how long you had to wait before you got in, because it's like hundreds of people there and they have to like check you off on a list and everything. So it takes a bit of time to get through the gate. So the party was supposed to start at 7. I looked Carol in her face and I said, "Take us there for 5:30." And she was like, "Oh my God, it's so." She's like, "Oh my God, it's so early. You're gonna be just standing around the whole time. Your leg's gonna kill you before you even let in." I was like, "I don't care. I'm this close to the promised land. Please drop us at 5:30." Evan was laughing her ass off because she knew how it was. I was like, if it was up to me, I probably would have woken all the Jacksons up with like breakfast and coffee and donuts and stuff. Be like, let's get this show on the road, y'all. But we got Carol to drop us, and incredibly, Ebony and I were literally the first two like attendees there. I mean, it was just like us and security just sitting around because I probably put the video someplace behind under it. Like most of the people, if you know the Havenhurst estate, you know what I'm talking about. We were like, there's a little low brick wall, like a little decorative brick wall, right outside of the main gates that like a normal person would drive through, you know, to access to get in towards the house. Um, and I was like, 'cause at first we asked this guy, could we go? And he was like, no, they're still setting up. You can, you're gonna have to wait. So we sat down. I mean, you could see like little catering trucks leaving. You could see the little Pink's hot dog. That hot dog was amazing. The Pink's hot dog, famous Pink's hot dogs, little bus go by. You see other people going. So, it's just me and Ebony looking kind of weird because we're in costume. And everybody else is like in these black reflective security jackets. And I was just like, oh, this is so weird. Because I was like, what if we were the only ones who showed up with like a costume on? And it would be weird. But we're sitting there and we had a binder, a blue binder. I think I took it out because I had a copy of a horror story that I wrote, and one was for Taj, one was for TJ, and one was for Terrell. Terrell didn't attend, so it's sitting somewhere in there collecting dust. But Ebony was holding TJ's copy, and she started reading it because we had nothing else to do. I refused to touch my phone because like the battery was being wonky, and I didn't want it to go like die on me or whatever. So she's reading beside me, closest to the gate. I'm closest to the street, and I'm just watching cars come, just watching cars come, and every time a car showed up, it was else like dropping off, like I guess somebody that knew the Jackson family that I didn't know because they kept tagging them on through. Um, and more security showing up to park people's cars for them because they had a valet service for a house party, which was cool. Um, so for a second, I turned around to Ebony and said, "Do you think we should call Carol back to come get us? Because I mean, we're sitting here and these bricks are kind of hurting my butt." So, and she was like, "No, we're here. We're gonna stay." I said, "Okay." So she's still looking down, reading, and I'm just watching cars pass by, watching cars pull up, people get out of cars. So all of a sudden, this nondescript van pops up, and I remember literally saying to myself, "Ah, here's some more security." So the door opens, and all I see is this big red and white striped hat, and a guy in a cat in a hat costume, and I was like, "Oh my god, this TJ Jackson." So I started elbowing the hell out of Ebony, and she's like, "What?" I was like, "What? It's TJ, it's TJ." And so she was like, "Oh my god." And I'm like, "Oh my god." And we're freaking out, but we're trying to keep calm, trying to be quiet because we couldn't just jump up and maul the guy. So TJ was, we waved to him, and he waved, hi back, and then he started talking to security and stuff. He was even helping to move the table. If you see my live I shot outside of the gate, you'll see me saying, "Oh, and he's helping them." He just like jumped right in and started helping people, gets things set up for the party. And, we're freaking out. And I'm talking to Ebony. I'm like, should we go talk to him? Should we go say hi? Should we do something? And, she was unsure. She was like, "What do you want to do? What do you want to do?" And, he's literally like 10 feet away from us, messing on his phone. And I was like, "Let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this." So, get up. We walk over to him. And I just can't believe that it was him. And, I started, I think he knew who I was. I think he knew who I was. So, I started talking. And in the video that I shot, you can see me get visibly like kind of annoyed at Ebony for poking at me for something, and I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Tiff, introduce yourself." And if you listen closely, you can hear TJ echo her and say, "Yeah, introduce yourself." And I'm in my head, I'm like, "Dude, like you don't know who I am." But very, it was crazy. So, I was like, "Can I have a hug? Can we, and he was like, "Sure." He gave us a hug. He hugged Ebony. We were talking back and forth. I caught some of the conversation, but like I said, I had to save myself my battery. But he even asked me like about my dialysis. He was asking me how that was going. He asked me if I'm okay. There's this man standing here, dressed like a cat in a hat with his little cat whiskers drawn on, and he's worried about me, asking about how I'm doing. My wig almost flew off and flew through the air. I was just like, "Really?" He was so nice and he was so sweet. Um, incredible. We didn't film it, but there is a picture of me. I asked him if I could kiss his cheek. Now, there's a picture of me kissing him, and there's a picture of me kissing Tosh. I completely asked both of them, um, out of respect, because duh, you can't just walk up to somebody and start kissing them. Um, Some guy at the party did kiss me that I don't even know his name, but that's a different story for a different day. And I will tell y'all about that. But that was kind of a surreal moment on the dance floor when that happened. But like I said, different story. Um, it was funny. And he was really nice. He was really happy to get the story from me. He was looking at it, he was like, you should really turn this into a book. You should really, you know, he was just kind of like, gassing us up. And for me, I'm just kind of like hoping that he and or Taj like the story. Because Taj was giving his story the day before. Like I said, that's a more involved story. I'm kind of like jumbled up and trying to break down in my head every single story that I have to tell. Because to say it was just like a 5 or 6 hour party, so much stuff happened. So much stuff. But yeah. So after a while, TJ was very sweet, very cordial with us. And eventually he had to, excuse himself because he had things to tend to inside the party, help get things ready for the party. So, we said him bye bye. And me and Ebony are standing there talking. And like, oh my God, I can't believe we met TJ Book. So I had my back to the road, and Ebony was standing in front of me because we were talking while we were waiting for, to start getting checked in. And Ebony was like, Tiff, turn around. And I was like, what? And she's like, turn around and look. And she was like, isn't that guy off of, you know, Facebook you've been talking to? And I was like, I was like, Ron? She was like, yeah. So I turned around and I looked damn straight if it wasn't Ron. It most definitely was Ron Pia. And, it was cool. Because I've been watching him for ages. And it was like so cool to turn around and see him vlogging with, you know, his dangerous jacket on, the little cross thing of bullets, like the pants and stuff. He had it. He was decked out, like completely decked out. So in the same video where I met TJ, I did not know that I had my camera pointing down for my phone while I was filming. I apologize for that. I'm a crappy filmographer. But you can hear me say, "Oh my God, hi Ron," and he's like, "Hello," and he was just like really cool and really nice. Like everybody I met at the party was like super chill, super cool, super nice. Um, no complaints from this corner. Everybody acted very sweet and like literally, everybody treated me like we were friends. Like we had been friends for years. Like I don't know, just like the way I would treat Ebony, that's how everybody was treating me. Just like, oh, here's a friend, come, come get a hug, come, do this and do that and everything. But yeah, that was me meeting TJ Jackson, and I'm really surprised that I didn't cry, I didn't scream. I mean, I was like giddy, of course, but I managed to hold my crap together really good, and it still hasn't fully hit me days later. I will say this: the only time I did cry when I was at the party was you could look into the studio at Havenhurst where Michael Jackson was like recording demos and songs for Thriller and his other albums, and that kind of really hit me emotionally. And there's actually a picture of me like Kim K ugly crying, like because I was just so amazed and mesmerized and just like, shoot, this is like where some of my favorite songs happened. This is like where the magic happened, where the excellence happened at. Like it was breathtaking. It was a breathtaking night. Oh, and at some point, I'm definitely gonna have a blog dedicated to just the food because that shit was slamming. Pardon my language, but I mean it slapped. It was amazing. That was some of probably the best food I've ever eaten in my life. And I'm not skinny, so I know my food pretty well. But yeah, all in all, it was a great evening. And this is like part one. Once I have more time on my hands, I will make a video um discussing how I met Tosh. because I know a lot of people have been asking me about that. Um, because I actually met Taj outside of the party, the day before the first party. He met with me and my friends, and I keep getting asked, well, how did that happen? How did this, how did this meet? How did y'all get together? Like that. And it's not like, oh, I just decided, oh, I want to go to Starbucks and, let's get some coffee. It was like, no, this is some stuff that's been planned for like 6 months in advance. And I will cover that in part two. So yeah, I gotta go back to the real world and get ready for dialysis. Um, but yeah, that's how I met TJ Jackson. That's one of the times I met TJ because I kept running into him in the party with Ebony. We kept running into Taj. The hardest one to find was Prince because I don't know if that boy was flying around like he was Peter Pan or what, but it's like you could glimpse him for 5 seconds and then you blink, he's gone. And it's just like, where is he? Hey, where did he go? Um, it's too funny. But yeah, um, you can tell I really want to keep talking, but I can't. But yeah, I had a good time. Noonie had a good time. Say hi, Noonie. And yeah, so I'll catch you guys in part two. It's after Halloween, so instead of just saying stream Thriller, stream something Jackson, stream Michael, 3T, TJ Solo Works, Terrell Solo Works, just somebody with the name Jackson. You know, show them some love, stream, like them, share it, everything. All right. Bye, y'all. Have a good day.